Hello nerds, today is June 30th, and that means it's time for the 181st game of the Meditation Games. Today's game was made by Andrej Mazur and Ava Mazur, I think. I don't know. They left there a short blurb for us, which I'll read out for you now. Whatever it takes. There's actually a lot more context to this, not on the Twitter, but there's a blog post that Andrej put up that goes a lot more into the sort of background of the game, and apparently there might be another blog post from Ava herself, which goes even more into it. I'll leave links below to all the stuff anyway, so you can check that out when you, if you feel so inclined. But the general gist of it is Ava's birthday today, so happy birthday to you. And this meditation is, if I got this right, it's about a game that Ava's been working on for about 10 years. The project name's called Red Balloon. I don't know much more about the game other than that, so maybe we'll find out about either the game or what's been going on in the past 10 years whilst Ava's been making this game. So, I don't know. Let's have a look. Oh, and Enclave Games are what these guys have been working on. And, okay, cool, what we got here? Righto. Okay, so there's a girl being suspended, but on a, what the fuck, on a balloon, or by a balloon, rather. Oh, I thought it moved these things, but it's not, it's just catching them. I can clip the scissors. What happens if I just let the things hit the ground? I'm trying to do something without actually understanding the rules of what's going on. Okay, I seem to be able to let them just fall. If I click them, it collects. Oh, what's going on there? I suddenly have... I've lost a life. I don't know why. It's going to take a few replays, isn't it? Is there anything else I can click or interact with? No, not that I can see. Oh, crap, I missed it. Hey! There we go. Hold on, it's a bit cack-handed. That was not helping. Let's do that again. Interesting. One life left. Am I losing? 4, 5, 6. Oh, I've got to double click them now. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, this definitely warrants another playthrough. I don't know what's going on. Christ, how many? Fucking hell, is that 3 or 4 clicks? I don't even know. Oh, that's 2. Oh, I don't know. Okay. We're still on that 0 life thing. I don't know what these are. I'm going to let this just go without doing anything, see what happens. Because the life's not going down, so I'm either doing what is ever necessary to not die. I just don't understand. Or maybe you can't get a game over, maybe there's no fail state put into the game. And then not pressing anything, the game's not progressing forward. Or nothing's happening anyway. What happens if I just... Oh, I see. Okay. Every one of these I collect is slowly bringing her back to the ground. Oh. Okay, I can ditch weights as well. And I can ditch hearts. Okay, I am very... See, slightly less confused now. Although I'm okay, right, okay. So I'm just going to cut this bit short. It's basically me trying to figure out what the game could possibly mean. I didn't really come to a very good conclusion whilst I was playing it. But I've just been editing it, and a lot more things have just sort of come into my head. So I'm just going to put this in instead. I've already done this take once and realised that I forgot to mention some stuff. So here we go again. Okay, let's begin the game. Okay, so... What we know of the game going in is this is Ava. Ava has a project that she's been working on for 10 years. The project is called Red Balloon, I assume, symbolised by this red balloon. Seems logical. My guess is, I can't remember if I read it or saw it anywhere, but this is like a big project for her. This is something that she's very passionate about, and if you've got a project you've been working on for 10 years, it's obviously going to be very hard to support yourself in those 10 years. And I think the need to support yourself and the framework that you have to build up around that is something that's inhibiting her. That's stopping her from completing this project. Perhaps, but this is my thinking. So, we have this block here, this anchor that is literally tying her to the ground, keeping her grounded, or stopping her creativity from taking her where she needs to go. What that block represents, I don't know. But my thinking is, this is expectation. This is a societal expectation. This block that is stopping her from flying away is her feeling that she should be doing things a certain way. And because she must be doing these things a certain way, she cannot let her creativity take her where she wants to go. And my thinking behind that is, when we add a weight, when we add these things, we're slowly pulling her down to the ground. But we cannot ditch these weights until we cut that string. Any chance of her to be taken away by this creativity, by this red balloon, she has to be severed from this block. Which makes me think that block is something substantially more oppressive than a job. It's something that's ingrained in her very psyche at this point, which to me suggests something systemic, something that takes a very radical thing to break away from. Like societal expectations, that kind of thing. Or maybe even family expectations, you know, but something like that. Something that's a very, very strong anchor that prohibits someone from being creative. But we cut that away, and we can start to jettison the weights. Happy days. What are these weights? I reckon these weights are things like jobs, bills, debts, all that kind of stuff. Things that you just add to your life that make it more difficult, that can restrict your ability to be creative. Either way, we add these stresses, we add these weights to her, and eventually she hits this little patch on the ground here. Initially, I just thought it was her shadow. But I'm wondering if it's actually a pit of despair. If you're wondering what a pit of despair is, watch meditation number 3. But the pit of despair is... it's a valley of sadness. It's something where you fall down where your sadness and your anger and sort of self-defeatism wins out. It's somewhere it overtakes you. I'm wondering if that's what that is. If all these weights and these responsibilities and these pressures pull her into that pit of despair. What might be the result of a pit of despair? For me personally, it was a mental breakdown. The reason why I'm going along this line of thinking is because I guess I can fit it to me. I have wanted to do something that makes my life feel like it has meaning, something that plays to what I believe are my strengths, what few I have, something that I can feel my life was worth it for. But I've not been able to do that. I have had to have shit jobs. I've had this worrying, looming time limit of being too old to start on the career that I want to start on, or too old to start a family, too old to... or too old to not even have a house by now. I mean, luckily, turns out it's not just me, it's my generation, so I feel a lot less shit about that now. But when I was younger, Christ, that was a looming pressure. It was like, I'm in my mid-20s, I'm still... Oh no, early 20s, I'm still living with my parents. I'm in my mid-20s, okay, I've got my own place, but I'm in a job I hate. If I leave this job, I'm back in with my parents, and all this kind of thing. There's just layer upon layer of stress and anxiety and worry. And eventually, this kind of thing can lead you to a mental breakdown. I've had 3 in my time. But who's keeping count? Which is interesting, because that's how many hearts Ava's got here. And I'm wondering if those mental breakdowns are a heart. I'm wondering if she loses a heart each time she has a mental breakdown. But you may be thinking, why would a mental breakdown help you become creative? Because if we ditch all these weights, she's still going nowhere. Why not? This is weird, and this is why I feel I may be wrong, but here's how I feel. This is how I feel it relates to me. For me, personally, every time I went through those things, because my first mental breakdown was because of school. My second one's more applicable. It was the feeling of going nowhere. I was trapped, I was in a job that I fucking hated, and my life kind of felt pointless and meaningless, and I didn't want to be in that life anymore. I didn't want to die. I wanted to live, and I wasn't. I was surviving, and I didn't like it. And it got too much for me. I honestly wanted to just get all the money I could, leave my job, walk out the house, and just travel. I wanted to see the world. I couldn't be fucked standing in co-op day in, day out, serving people that pissed me off, struggling to make ends meet, struggling to meet people, struggling to have time for myself, struggling to have fun, and, you know, all these kind of things. It took that breakdown to realise what was important to me, and I jettisoned some of that responsibility as a result of it. That breakdown helped me see what was important, and what was not important, or not important enough for me to stifle my life over, so some of it went. And it stayed that way for a good long time until my third breakdown happened, which was not too long ago. And during that one, again, I felt like I was stuck. These weights of responsibility just kept piling on and on, because even though we've had one of those breakdowns, we sort of set into a new medium, we set into a new status quo, and you can start adding weights to that again. And eventually you snap and realise that not all of these things are important again. Some of the things that you thought were important or are no longer important, or new things become important. You basically shift your priorities again. And I had one of them a year or so ago. But how exactly it relates, because we're not going to have another breakdown. I can't add the weights back on. That might just be an oversight. I don't know. And we could just click to remove them. So yeah, I suppose my analogy doesn't really work there. But hey, whatever, you know, it was good for a story, wasn't it? But eventually you learn what is really important in your life. You learn to strip away all the bullshit. And eventually you're able to free yourself enough that you can be that creative spirit that you wanted to be. You can do that thing that you want to do. And whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to see you be able to chase that dream. I suspect I'm a bit wrong on that last bit, but whatever. It could just be like you've got to sacrifice your life to get where you want to be, but what if having a life is part of where you want to be? I don't know. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it anyway, so back to the ending of the video. So yeah, that was today's meditation. I will leave links below to their Twitters, to the Enclave website, which has the blog post for today's meditation, and also to Ava's portfolio website as well, so feel free to have a look at the stuff that they've made and the stuff that they talk about. It'll all be below. So with that, I'll say a huge thank you to Andrej and to Ava for making today's meditation, and thank you very much for watching. I will see you again tomorrow. Take care.